What's up, bitches? Beautiful bitches. Welcome to my channel if you're new here. If you're not, what's up, bitch? We're gonna read today. It's a very popular book. This book has been recommended by a lot of people I look up to, a lot of smart people that are successful. Yeah, I've already read this book once. It's really good. It's one of those books you could read any book more than once, but if you're just starting off, don't worry. You don't have to go back and listen to the other videos. If you don't really want to pay attention, you could just listen to my voice and fall asleep. Whatever floats your boat. But we're all here to relax and just following through from where I left off. I am still on the first chapter. I'm on page 11. So yeah, like I said, if you are paying attention but you haven't watched the other videos, don't worry, you'll still understand. You haven't missed much. Okay, so we're just gonna get into it. Without research, this book would not have been written. Here, take notice of a very significant truth. The business depression started in 1929 and continued on an all-time record of destruction until sometime after President Roosevelt entered office. Then the depression began to fade into nothingness, just as an electrician in a theater raises the lights. Too gradually, the darkness is transmuted into light before you realize it. So did the spell of fear in the minds of people gradually fade away and become faith. As soon as you master the principles of this philosophy and begin to follow the instructions applying those principles, your financial status will begin to improve. Everything you touch will begin to transmute itself into an asset for your benefit. Impossible? Not at all. One of the main weaknesses of mankind is the average person's familiarity with the word impossible. He knows all the rules that will not work. He knows all the things that cannot be done. This book was written for those who seek the rules that have made others successful and are willing to stake everything on those rules. A great many years ago, I purchased a fine dictionary. The first thing I did was turn to the word impossible and neatly clipped it out of the book. That would not be an unwise thing for you to do. Success comes to those who are success conscious. I'm going to say that again. Success comes to those who are success conscious. Failure becomes to those who indefinitely allow themselves to become failure conscious. The object of this book is to help all who seek and learn the art of changing their minds from failure conscious to success conscious. Another weakness found in altogether too many people in the habit of measuring everything and everyone by their own impressions and beliefs. Some who read this will believe that no one can think and grow rich. They cannot think in terms of riches because their thought habits have been steeped in poverty, want, misery, failure, and defeat. Millions of people took an achievement of Henry Ford and envy him for his good fortune or luck or genius or whatever it is they credit for Ford's fortune. Perhaps one person in every 100,000 knows that secret of Ford's success, and those who do know are too modest or too reluctant to speak of it because of its simplicity. A single transition will illustrate the secret perfectly. When Ford decided to produce his own famous V8 motor, he chose to build an engine with the entire 8 cylinders cast in one block and instructed his engineers to produce a design for the engine. The design was placed on a paper that the engineers believed it was simply impossible to cast an 8-cylinder gas engine block in one piece. Ford said, "Produce it anyway," but they replied, "It's impossible." "Go ahead," Ford commanded, "and stay on the job until you succeed, no matter how much time is required." The engineers went ahead, and with no other option, they went to remain on the Ford staff. 6 months went by and nothing happened. Another 6 months passed and still nothing happened. The engineers tried every conceivable plan to carry out the orders, but the thing seemed out of question, impossible. At the end of the year, Ford checked with his engineers, and again they informed him that they found no way to carry out his orders. "Go right ahead," said Ford. "I want it and I'll have it." They went ahead. Then, as if by a stroke of magic, the secret was discovered. The Ford determination had won once more. The story was not to be described with minute accuracy, but the substance of it is correct. Deduce from it, you who wish to think and grow rich, the secret of Ford millions if you can. You'll not have to look very far. Henry Ford is a success because he understands and applies the principles of success. One of these is desire, knowing of what he wants. Remember this Ford story as you read and pick up the lines in which the secret of his stupendous achievement has been described. If you do this, you can lay your finger on the particular group of principles that made Henry Ford rich. You can equal his achievements in almost any calling for which you have suited. The Henry Ford of the late 20th century was Bill Gates. Just as Ford revolutionized the transportation industry by creating a car that almost anyone could afford and drive, Bill Gates transformed the computer industry by designing software that enabled everybody, not just the specialized technocrats, to be able to use computers, and later making the personal computer a virtual necessity in every office, school, and home. This resulted in Bill Gates securing billions of dollars and becoming the richest man in America. He first became entranced with computers and began programming them at the age of 13. In 1973, he entered Harvard University, where he lived down the hall from Steve Ballmer, now Microsoft's chief executive officer. While at Harvard, Gates developed a version of programming language, BASIC, for the first microcomputer. Gates was so absorbed in his dream of building a software company that he left Harvard to devote his energies to fulfilling it. A few years earlier, him and his childhood friend Paul Allen had formed a company, Microsoft, as a vehicle for his endeavor. Guided by a belief that the computer would be a valuable tool of every office desktop in every home, they began developing software for personal computers. Gates' foresight of his vision for personal computing had been the central success of Microsoft and the software industry. Having achieved your major goal, Bill Gates continues to pursue new goals, both in the business of creating ever-improving computer programs and his philanthropic work, having founded with his wife, Melinda, the largest charitable foundation in the world. We are almost done, but I'm going to stop there and finish the rest for, what's today, Tuesday? Friday. We're going to finish it Friday. Alright guys, so I hope you feel relaxed and optimistic and motivated maybe. I really like stories like that. You know, I feel like a lot of people think you need to have a silver spoon or be lucky or be born with money and this and that, but those are just examples of people who decided that they weren't going to take no for an answer. But there's so much more to it, so that's why I really love this book. I hope you guys enjoyed it too, and thanks for watching. Thanks for the support.